Guys, don't forget to subscribe for the latest in boxing and raw boxing opinions. So this nigga Deontay Wilder, he claims that he expects to make $100 million when he faces Tyson Fury. This nigga's delusional, people. This nigga's absolutely delusional. So basically, he thinks that the fight between himself and Tyson Fury is going to generate such a massive attendance. It's going to generate such a massive pay-per-view sales that it's going to make him a profit of $100 million in, like, I guess, pay-per-view. Because the only way he can make this type of money is with, like, the amount of pay-per-views, right? The amount of pay-per-view buys, the attendance that shows up at the event, the actual event. So I'm guessing he's thinking that all that is gonna generate him a profit of, $100 million. This nigga can't sell out 6,000 tickets in Alabama. Like, he can't sell out 6,000 tickets in Alabama. That's how much of a fan base he has in his own country, in his own state, in his own home state. He can't sell out 6,000 tickets. This fighter has never fought in pay-per-view. He's never fought in a pay-per-view event. He's not a pay-per-view star. He's not a big draw. He doesn't draw a massive fan base. You get what I'm saying? Tyson Fury is not a pay-per-view star. Tyson Fury is fighting Deontay Wilder in the United States. He's fighting him in the United States, in Los Angeles, right? Over there in California, right? On pay-per-view. He's fighting him against Deontay Wilder, a guy who can't even sell out 6,000 tickets in Alabama, in his state where he lives, where he resides, right? So how the hell does Deontay Wilder think he's going to generate $100 million worth of profit from pay-per-view buys, from the gate sales, the people who are actually in the event? I wouldn't be shocked if 3,000 people showed up to this fight in the fucking venue wherever the fight's taking place. I wouldn't be shocked if 3,000 people showed up. I wouldn't be shocked if the pay-per-view does 250K buys, tops, maximum. You get what I'm saying? Because, just this past weekend, there was a massive fight, a massive MMA fight, a massive UFC event between Conor McGregor versus Khabib. I can't pronounce this guy's last name. I call him Khabib, right? The guy who just beat Conor McGregor. That was a fight that many MMA fighters, and many MMA boxing fans, and many MMA fans, they wanted to see. By the way, I happen to be a big MMA fan, and I saw that fight. I paid for the pay-per-view. I saw that whole event. That was a massive and a big deal fight for the MMA community, right? That fight happened in the MGM Grand. Now, when it comes to America, the UFC MMA is way more popular right now than something like boxing. Like, just look at the crowds. The UFC is fucking... The American boxing fans go crazy for the UFC. Like, that is doing way better than something like boxing. That's why you notice how there's so many, like, EA does so many UFC games. Every other year there's another UFC game. Why? Because right now in the United States, when it comes to combat sports, the UFC is the most popular combat sports. That's why EA said, fuck you to making boxing video games. We're just gonna stick to making UFC video games, because in America the UFC is hot. People love the UFC. This is why they make so many games, because the UFC is hot. And look at the crowd. The people go crazy for the UFC in America. American fans, they love the UFC. They love that type of fight. Now, a mega fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib took place in the MGM Grand, and it sold 20,000 people were at attendance, right? On the MGM Grand, 20,000 people showed up to that fight. That was the biggest attendance that the UFC has ever had in his entire career. They said that was the biggest attendance that is ever had in the MGM Grand. 20,000 people. Now that was a massive fight. That was a massive fight that many people wanted to see, and 20,000 people showed up to that arena, and it generated $17 million. Right? Those 20,000 people that paid to go to see that fight live in the arena, all that amounted to 17 point something million dollars. Now, of course, that 17 point million dollars is probably going to be split with Conor McGregor and Khabib, right? Because they were the guys who fought. They're probably going to receive some of that money, right? And of course, I don't know how much the pay-per-view did, because this fight wasn't pay-per-view, it was a big event. But I'm guessing maybe it did 1 point something million, maybe around there, right? I don't know. I'm not too sure. But that just goes to show you, a massive event like that only generated $17 million when it came to the live gate attendance. 20,000 people and $17 million. And maybe it only generated like 1.5 or 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. So all that massive event didn't generate $100 million in fucking money, in profit. So that's why you mean to tell me that this massive UFC fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib could not generate $100 million, but Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder will generate $100 million in profit? You must be out of your fucking mind, Wilder. You're delusional. That's not gonna fucking happen. Because like I said, you're not a pay-per-view star. You're nowhere near as popular as somebody like Khabib or fucking Conor McGregor. Okay? Maybe it got to his head. Maybe because when Wilder went to Belfast and he had that confrontation with Tyson Fury, he saw how the Belfast boxing fans were going crazy. Yeah, going crazy for Tyson Fury. Well, guess what? Conor McGregor also has Irish fans, boxing fans, and MMA fans, and they traveled to MGM Grand to watch him fight live. Yet Conor McGregor still didn't generate $100 million. He still didn't, he generated an attendance of $17 million in profit, and if you combine that with the pay-per-view, it wasn't $100 million. So there's no way that Deontay Wilder is going to generate $100 million versus Tyson Fury in pay-per-view buys and attendance. Like I said, trust me, there's not going to be nowhere near 20,000 people showing up to watch Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder live in Los Angeles. Maybe 3,000, 5,000 maximum. And there's, you're not going to, Wilder must be out of his mind if he thinks he's going to get 10 million buys on fucking pay-per-view. Trust me, I wouldn't be shocked if it's 350K maximum. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened, but Wilder thinks really highly of himself. He thinks he's a massive pay-per-view star. He's never fought on pay-per-view, but, that's what he thinks. Anyway, got stuff to say. Subscribe for Ladies in Boxing, and thanks for watching. Much appreciated.